Well, this week on Wake Up, we're putting the spotlight on childcare. And as we mentioned yesterday, a number of changes to the system are currently being considered by the federal government.
One of those is possibly extending the childcare rebate to cover nannies.
It seems every celebrity mum has one, so it's no wonder there's a perception that people who hire nannies are super rich. But that's simply not the case. In Australia, a growing number of families are hiring home help to overcome childcare shortages and to meet their flexible working needs. The federal government estimates there are 30,000 nannies caring for children in Australian homes. But with no rebate, they're often a more expensive option to daycare. A full-time nanny can cost between $40,000 to $60,000 a year. Because of this expense, the government fears that many families employing nannies pay cash in hand. So there's a belief that introducing the rebate and regulating the industry would help stamp out this practice and bring in more tax revenue. Well, Anne-Marie Sampson is a working mother of 5. I'm exhausted just saying that, working mother of 5. She joins us now along with her wonderful nanny, Marnie Spackman, and her 3 youngest children. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Take us through your experience with the children. Was a nanny just the best option for you or the only option?
Well, it was the best at the time, but at the moment, because of the 5 and being able to have flexibility with our working hours, because we both work long hours, we have to work interstate, we really need to have that flexibility of having a nanny in the home, and just the logistics of running around with all the school children and these 3 really helps having a nanny.
How do you afford it? Because sometimes you're paying, as we saw earlier, between $40,000 to $60,000 a year.
Yeah, it's not cheap, and the fact is that's one of the reasons why with the Australian Nanny Association we're really barracking for families, just all families, to be able to have access that funding that childcare centres are able to access, so that families who are of all socio-economic backgrounds can receive that.
It is expensive, but you're saying that it's cheaper for you to have a nanny when you've got kids of this age than it is to send them to childcare.
Well, it is for me, because if my local daycare centre, it's $100 per day per child, so that's $300 per day for these children to attend a long daycare centre, and it's actually cheaper for me to have a nanny.
Marnie, tell us about your experience. You used to work in a daycare centre.
Yeah.
Why do you love being a nanny?
I love being a nanny because I get the quality one-on-one interactions with the children every day. I formed a close relationship with the whole family, and I just feel like part of the family every day that I go there.
What do you think is wrong with the current system?
I find that children aren't having quality one-on-one interactions in a childcare centre just because there's so many children. And having a nanny, I get to spend quality time with each children every day and educating them.
Broadly speaking, when you're in a childcare centre, as a carer in there, what sort of time are you able to spend with kids?
I find that I was snowed under with paperwork quite a lot, and the reason I entered childcare was because I wanted to have interactions with the children, care for them, nurture them and educate them, but I found that the paperwork was just building up and I had to do it in my own time without pay. So.
Anne-Marie, for you, if there was a rebate for nannies, how do you think the system would change? Would it encourage more people to become nannies? Would we get a stronger system?
I mean, there's a lot of nannies out there, they're saying 30,000 at the moment, but there's a lot of cash in hand and there's a lot of people that are doing it the right thing as well. But there's educators that are working in centres, which I think that's a legitimate need, and then there's also a need for families such as myself who need to have a nanny in the home as well. And I think that that would encourage people to continue with their training and work within all the options like family daycare, long daycare, preschool and being a nanny in the home.
Anne-Marie, there is a misconception, I think, today, as we heard earlier, that nannies are only for the wealthy. But as you mentioned, for people often that don't earn a lot of money, that have to travel interstate, it's the only childcare option that they have.
That's right. And look, it's not always for the rich. The fact is, people who are in a higher socio-economic earner background, they're going to be able to get a nanny, and they will always anyway without the rebate. But we're talking about families who are at the lower and middle class earners that really need to be able to access this service. And they should really be entitled to get the same rebate and childcare benefit that families in centres are getting.
So what do you believe the solution is then?
Well, one of the things with the Australian Nanny Association...
I love all of it. You're going to get a big star for this. Well done.
One of the things with the Australian Nanny Association is that we've done a submission to the Productivity Commission, and we have asked the government to actually have a look at that option for families, all families, to include nannies, qualified nannies, in a regulated system to receive the rebate.
Marnie, as someone who's worked in childcare centres and would obviously have friends who work in childcare, what do you hear most of all from your peers who work in the industry that they need from their perspective?
They need more time because you've got to do the portfolios. They need more time to be able to do that paperwork. And unfortunately, they're taken off the floor away from the children. And most people enter the childcare centre to work with children, but there's just so much paperwork that needs to be done that they don't get to spend the quality time that I do with these children.
So is that a nature of the system or of the childcare centres themselves?
No, it's got to be done. Yeah.
It's part of the requirements of the NQF, the National Quality Framework.
So ideally, would you see people employed to specifically deal with the paperwork or just add more people to the childcare centre? How do you solve that?
I just think more people need to be employed in the centre because most of the time they employ staff to the ratio of the children and then therefore once the children start leaving then you get time to do the paperwork and it just keeps building up and building up, but unfortunately it does have to be done. But they just need more staff to be able to cater to be able to do that.
It's such an affordability issue.
It is.
Just trying to have the right amount of staffing so that there's an even balance and quality care.
Marnie, thanks for being here.
Thank
Anne-Marie, I don't know how you do this, but you are...
I've got help.
Still, you're a legend. We appreciate your time this morning, guys. And kids, you've been unreal. Natasha's made a collection here of
Very
colouring
good
and
drawing.
drawings.
I love this. Did you see Mummy on the TV?
Yeah, whatever.
That's fine.
I'm busy. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.